competition and co-MCs. Before we begin, I want to give a big welcome to our 20 finalists who made it through 700 applications and went through a rigorous vetting process through the Dubai Future Accelerators and the SDO teams. So I want to welcome them all in Dubai. For a lot of them, it's their first time. And I want to wish them the best of luck for today. And hopefully Dubai will not just be your hub, but also be your home in the next few months. So please join me in welcoming the finalists today and wishing them all the best for today. And I sincerely hope that our judges are going to be much nicer to you than we were to you in the initial stages of the competition.
I would also like to welcome you to this year's Smart Dubai Global Blockchain Challenge. We were excited when Smart Dubai approached us to collaborate on this blockchain competition this year, especially because Dubai Future Foundation and Smart Dubai have an existing strong partnership. Our journey for this competition started in December of last year, and after months of evaluations and months of preparations, the big day is finally here. Before we get to know the 20 finalists, I have the honor to welcome Her Excellency Dr. Aisha bin Bisha, the Director General of Smart Dubai Office, onto the stage for her welcoming remarks.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the finals of the third Smart Dubai Global Blockchain Challenge, an initiative crucial to the development of the blockchain ecosystem here in Dubai and in the region. The Smart Dubai Blockchain Challenge has been recognized for bringing some of the best blockchain minds from across the globe to Dubai, resulting in government and private sector collaborations and implementation of blockchain applications across the city. This year's challenge has witnessed spectacular results, receiving a total of 700 applications from 79 countries around the world. And actually, this really surprised me because I was expecting only 300. And I'm not sure what was the secret behind attracting this number, showcasing that blockchain solutions across 92 different industries can be gathered and brought them here to Dubai. This is a dramatic increase from last year's total of 200 applications. That's why you can imagine my surprise from 200 jumping to 700. This reflects the wide-reaching international appeal of this challenge. The criteria for submissions and evaluation has been very rigorous indeed, and all applications received exhibited innovation and immense potential. The challenge today will witness pitches from the top 20 finalists from those 700, who are believed to provide the most promising blockchain solution for our city. Without further ado, I invite you all to join me for a round of applause, congratulating these finalists who have made it this far and wishing them the very best of luck in front of these juries. Thank you, everyone, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Dr. Aisha, for your inspiring welcoming remarks. As we all know, Smart Dubai is the custodian of the blockchain strategy for Dubai. And I would now like to invite Mohammed Al-Sharid on stage. He's the Senior Project Manager at Smart Dubai, and he will give us an update on the strategy and the execution and how it's tied to this challenge.
Mike. Morning, guys. Welcome to the third Global Blockchain Challenge.
A little bit.
We are very excited to be here again at the Future Blockchain Summit. Our journey has begun 2 years ago when we initiated the Blockchain Challenge for the first time, and we've received 100 applications only at that time. This year, with 700 applications, a number that we've never expected to achieve in this short time. Let me take you through the Dubai blockchain strategy and few insights about the blockchain challenge and how it is enhancing and supporting the ecosystem in the city of Dubai. As the blockchain strategy was launched by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum, Crown Prince of Dubai, that Dubai will be the first city fully powered by blockchain by 2020. The strategy revolves around three key pillars. First, increasing government efficiency, providing the right tools, infrastructure, policies, where we create the environment to implement different use cases across the different sectors. Second, creating the industry and ecosystem, and that's the reason why we have the Global Blockchain Challenge, is to bring the new mindsets, the new initiatives and projects to Dubai. And the third is the international leadership. It is our contribution to the blockchain experience across the globe. My colleagues were at the US in a delegation led by Her Excellency Dr. Aisha bin Bishr, where they presented the Dubai blockchain strategy and the Dubai paperless strategy to the World Bank at Washington, DC, as part of our knowledge sharing efforts. The use cases that we are implementing and experiencing across the city are renting and buying a property, obtaining commercial license, payment reconciliation, and by the way, we've launched the first phase of the payment reconciliation project a few months ago with 5 different entities from the private and public sectors. Other use cases are like licensing medical institutions, issuing wills, charging electric vehicle, managing the life cycle of a vehicle, and enrolling and managing students at school. Those are some of the partners that we've worked with since 2017, again from the private and the public sectors. And due to the government focus to the emerging techs in general and to the blockchain in specific, we've worked on an emerging tech report last year where we scanned the blockchain businesses across the globe. There are over 8,000 businesses, and 114 of them are currently based in Dubai, originated from 20 different countries. Here's a picture of the 2017 Global Blockchain Challenge. The first winner was Sun Exchange around energy and smart grids. Second winner was EduChain. And by the way, we've launched a report with EduChain yesterday, and I encourage every one of you to get a copy and read that report. Their focus was around education and providing student passport and certifications on blockchain. Everledger are providing financial services and solutions. Here is a picture of the Global Blockchain Challenge in 2018 with the winners that happened at the Future Blockchain Summit as well. The first winner was 8Tech, and their solution around digital identity, healthcare, and charity services. Smart Crowd, their concept was around buying a fraction of a property and the concept of fractional investments. Codex, their concept was around providing the platform for collectives and watches. So now, let's talk about today's competition. Our journey and our activity with this year Global Blockchain Challenge has started in December with the Dubai Future Accelerator, when we've launched the challenge and received 700 applications. We've selected the best 20 startups on 15 March, and today they are here prepared to pitch their ideas in front of you, in front of the judges and the government and public and private sector representatives. At the end of the ceremony today, we will be announcing the 3 winners. The 700 applications that we've received are from across the globe, from the American continents, the Far East, Australia, and South Africa. We are very excited and happy that we've received those applications from 291 different cities. Those applications are 250% more comparing to the applications that we've received last year, covering 92 different industries. And that's a testament that the blockchain is here to stay and probably disrupt every sector that we've been working in. The startups will be having 3 minutes to present their concepts. Those startups are coming from 16 different countries, covering 18 different industries from healthcare, oil and gas, maritime services, and more. To conclude, the main blockchain challenge benefits are to attract the best startups in the world, ensure that we provide a test bed and the environment for them to implement their new creative ideas, and provide the visibility and the opportunity with our partners to execute those projects. Thank you, and let's ensure that we keep Dubai the blockchain capital of the world.
Thank you. At around 5:30 p.m. today, we'll get to know who the 3 winners are out of the 20 finalists. And the winners will be selected by our judging panel, and I have the honor to introduce them to you now. Dr. Marwan Al-Saruni, he's a well-known figure in the local blockchain ecosystem. He's not only the CEO of Dubai Blockchain Center, the region's first blockchain hub for innovation hub for blockchain technologies. He's also the Director of Information Services at the Dubai Electronic Security Center. Welcome, Dr. Marwan. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Irina Haiba. She is the co-founder of BitMeX Technologies. What's interesting about Irina is actually she's a lawyer, and her mission is to take legacy businesses into the 21st century by leveraging emerging technologies such as blockchain. Welcome, Irina. Hans Christensen is joining us from DTech. DTech is the region's largest tech hub with over 800 tech startups. Hans has a very interesting past. He is also an entrepreneur, and he has had large corporations setting up their innovation departments, or corporations such as Siemens. Welcome, Hans. Right, Kuhail is joining us from DTCM. He oversees the technology department. He's a well-rounded expert in the field of information security, business intelligence, and IT strategy, and he plays a key role in the execution of Dubai Smart City initiatives, such as Dubai Data. Welcome, Right. And last but not least, we have Hubertus Thonhauser. In addition to being an entrepreneur and an investor, he currently serves as executive director of Thesis, Generation 3.0 open source blockchain company. And what's interesting about this company is that they had the largest ICO worldwide until 2017. Welcome, Hubertus. As you can see, we have a highly qualified judging panel, and they have a very challenging task ahead of them to define the top 3 candidates. Yeah.
Format of today is going to be the following. Each company will have 3 minutes to present their company, their solution, and why blockchain is an essential part of that company. And then after 3 minutes, you'll hear a buzzer, which sounds like this. Excellent. And followed by 2 minutes of question and answers from the judges. After that, the next company will come on board and they will present. The companies will be split into 3 groups because we have such a large size of companies, and we'll have breaks in between the group presentations. We're going to show you a quick video now about some of the work that they've been doing in the past few days. All right. Please join me in welcoming Akita Blockchain Solutions. They'll be the first company to present. Akita are building a tangible machine wallet to enable the smart machine-to-machine economy with global real-time microtransactions.
Check. Today, every human has 3 smart devices on average. When the Expo 2020 starts next year, this ratio will increase even to 4:1. Experts predict in another 5 years, it's going even to increase to 10:1. When my wife and I drive into the city to do some shopping, parking is always a nightmare. Most parking terminals in the world still require cash. They don't give change, and you always need to predict the exact amount of time you need. My wife would usually say, we only need 1 hour for shopping, then we will be back. Obviously, after 50 minutes, I look at the watch, we're still not done. I have to run back and get another ticket. So no matter how good you're planning this, you're never getting this right. We have to rethink and change the basic design of how humans and machines interact. Because of course, you could build another app, but remember the growing number of devices, right? That's why me and the team at Akita have actually built the world's first tangible smart machine agents. A car, a parking station, and a virtual government tax entity. As soon as the car reaches the parking position, the sensors are connecting of Smart Machine Agent 1 and 2, and the timer starts. After 2 hours, 47 minutes, and 25 or 31 seconds, the car drives off, and the wallet of the Smart Machine Agent 1 automatically pays the parking based on the time. What happens then, based on this previous transaction, 5% of tax is then automatically transferred from the parking spot directly to the virtual government tax entity. So this scenario is only the beginning of an upcoming machine economy. We are testing also other devices like solar panels, Industry 4.0, and we would love to see these smart machine agents in real life size here in Dubai, maybe even at the Expo 2020 to show it to the world. Encourage you to co-create with us and make this a reality, and let's make Dubai the happiest place on earth together. Thank you. By the way, I forgot one thing. You can take out your smartphones if you want and scan the QR code and see my details about the presentation saved on the IOTA Tangle. And this prototype is also running completely on the IOTA Tangle Live network at the moment. Okay, we can do.
Hello. My first question is, what have you checked the business models in Dubai, and is your business model disruptive to it, or will it fit in quite nicely?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Germany. I established my company in Singapore, and now during the past couple of days, we talked a lot to Dubai, RTA for instance, how we could implement that, and I'm still learning and I'm still asking them questions, how what we can provide and how we can execute could actually help their business model. So we are providing the services for other businesses to improve.
Hi. So it's very hard for people to understand what blockchain is, what cryptocurrency is, because it's not designed for humans. It's designed for machines, machine to machine, talking to each other, microtransactions. But talk to me about the future. Okay, parking, that's great, but in Dubai I don't have this problem because I have an app. But talk to me about driverless cars. Talk to me about my fridge that will be ordering milk for me. Talk to me about the smart devices and what's your path to take your application there?
Yeah, brilliant question. So we are actually talking to some German OEMs at the moment and talking about autonomous driving, of course. Think about it. Your car is an autonomous car, right? You are at work for 8 hours and your car is doing nothing. Your car can actually earn you money, do autonomous Uber drives, and when it has a smart machine agent, it can buy and sell services to other machines. So this is not limited to this. I got the question, can you put the same technology on drones for food deliveries? So we have very modular services that we could implement into several hardware and use cases actually. We are focusing on the core machine-to-machine how to talk to the nodes and really build a stable infrastructure.
Thank you for your presentation. Given the nature of your solution, which is geared towards government, can you explain to us why you would need blockchain for that?
Yeah, so my time is already running up, I think. If you're building data silos and individual solutions and more apps everywhere, it's kind of hard to connect this. So I believe we need an open, permissionless, distributed ledger to make it easy to connect all of these devices and make extensions. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Next up, we have Bluechain, a smart contract-based distributed system for the efficient management of industrial water, waste and energy resources towards economic, social, and environmental growth.
Not on? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hello. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dimitris Founis. I'm a senior of computer science in the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki in Greece. In the audience among you is also my colleague, George Vagenas, an environmental biologist. Together we created Bluechain, one of the first interdisciplinary systems, blockchain-based systems for the control, monitoring, and optimization of natural resource usage during industrial operations. We identified the problem during our previous academic work. Basically, industries failed to recognize exploitation zones as environmental continuums, and therefore, through selfish and non-transparent operations, end up damaging the same ecosystems they produce a profit from, also incurring environmental fines for them and degrading citizen quality of life in the process. Our solution, Bluechain, builds a self-balancing ecosystem that represents 4 basic elements and their needs. Industries, which of course seek to maximize production profit and avoid environmental fines. The government, seeking to enforce environmental legislation and preserve citizen quality of life. The scientific community, requiring live data to produce knowledge on optimal exploitation pathways. And environmental zones as the more passive resource warehouses with specific exploitation limits. Bluechain represents every sensitive transfer of resources between these elements through smart contracts and builds a self-balancing internal state. It constantly pushes its participants towards good practices and fills gaps of knowledge created in resource usage through feedback loops. One element feeds into the other. And our work follows a philosophy. Bluechain does not attempt to reinvent the wheel, but creates a realistic digital representation of the current industrial ecosystem on the chain, then optimizes it. Our work is also holistic. It gathers data from all parts of the industrial process, primarily to allow for the government to monitor national industries in real time, to enforce environmental legislation, and to also include the scientific communities in the process, to allow them to produce knowledge and optimize the nation's industries. For our work on identifying the problem, based on our case study of the Yangtze River Economic Belt in China, a region that produces more than $4 trillion annually, we received second place in the Byton Global Development Contest in Shanghai, and also the award for our academic excellence by the Aristotle University. In general, the United Arab Emirates exhibit tremendous industrial activity that is especially hard to grasp for Greeks like us, but it is our vision for the UAE to utilize our tools, interdisciplinary tools that combine knowledge from multiple academic fields to optimize the production process and maintain a sustainable industrial economy. A sustainable industrial economy that retains profit not only for now, but for the benefit of future generations as well. Thank you very much.
We're going to go for a few questions from the audience. Sorry, from the judges.
So thank you for this presentation, Dimitri. How do you ensure the customer adaption of that? Because this sounds pretty complex. How do you ensure the customer adaption of the ecosystem? Because it sounds like a pretty complex structure that you're planning.
This is the point of the whole thing. I understand where you're coming from, and when you represent 4 elements, you need to present advantages to each and every one, right? And the advantages are apparent for the government, for industrial zones, and for the scientific community itself. The trick is to give enough advantages to the industry, automation, by creating an ocean of data which can be used and fed back to it to produce more profit for the industry, and have it protected from environmental fines. So that's the advantage the industries get. The main producer, as you said, is industries. But you need to present also advantages to that, so your project is holistically useful, can be used by all of them.
Hi, so I come from the industry, 15 years in the oil and gas and shipping and mining industry, but I completely did not understand the use of blockchain. You talked about the use of smart contracts. What technology are you using? Which blockchain are you using? And why me, as an oil company, I'll use your smart contracts? That bit I did not understand at all.
We use the Byton blockchain. We're getting on to the more technical stuff of that. We use Byton and a proof of work coin that also offers smart contracts. The whole point of the exercise here is to create profitability through risk management from environmental fines. This functionality I described earlier costs European industries, for example, 349 million euros per year.
I'm familiar with environmental fines, and I defended a few of them for my clients. I'm saying, like, how will it work? How will it practically work?
Right. Represent all operations, input and output procedural operations on the chain, then using that, automate the whole system, and through smart contracts, remove trust on reporting your operations. You need to think of it. Should I continue with this? I think I can explain it in 30 seconds in a bit better way. Think of an industry, basic input, production, and output, right? And then you think of it, it is a transaction between an environment and the industry itself. That doesn't warrant the blockchain use necessarily. Now think of it, if an industry operates... Thank you very much, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Creenest, DOO. Next up we have BuildSort from Australia. They are a management and collaboration platform for the construction supply chain, combining smart legal contracts and a data marketplace to reduce costs and boost quality and efficiency.
The construction industry is broken. I know, because my family's been working in it for generations. 24 years ago, I started as a structural engineer, moving on to a project manager. 8 years ago, I started my own business. I nearly went bankrupt, and it was through no fault of my own. It was because companies that I was working with went into administration, owing me hundreds of thousands of dollars. This became very stressful for me and my family. When I first learned about blockchain, I thought this was the solution. This is what we need to fix this industry. So we came up with BuildSort. It's a smart legal contracts and collaboration platform for the construction industry. The way it works, sorry, I've got a video here. Can you start the video? So the way it works is we take a 3D model. We can break that down into elements. Now those elements get added to the blockchain. We take a standardized contract, and out of those contracts we can automate those clauses. Those clauses are done by a drag and drop interface. So it's very easy to use, and it can be, through the negotiation process, be updated. Now this fulfills a vital role in any blockchain project. That's because implementation or bringing adoption to blockchain projects is one of the biggest problems. What this does is it fulfills one of the biggest problems that we have in any blockchain, and that in any contract. We also, it brings virality to this platform. For those that enter into the contract are brought into it. Now it's only part of the solution. To make these contracts self-executing, we need to bring in lots of different data from different sources. So we take the physical and the digital world. This is the planned and what has been done on site, and using those we can execute the contracts. It's not just something for the construction industry. It can help smart cities initiatives by reducing infrastructure costs by up to 45%, according to McKinsey & Co. It's 100% paperless, which is right in line with all of Dubai's smart strategies. It could be self-policing. So anyone that doesn't have licenses, permits, or insurance can't enter into a contract. We can also use it for accurate permit fee collection and putting permits onto blockchain. And also the collaborative supply chain that comes along with it.
Thank you. We'll take a few questions from the judges.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. You mentioned the problem very accurately, which is adoption, but you didn't mention the solution. Do you think that this sector is ready for transparency? Because I don't think so.
No, definitely not. So contracts are very much private. So they're individuals, peer-to-peer. So that we're using a permission DLT to make sure that only those involved can see the contract. However...
But that defeats the purpose, right? The transparency is that the entire community are able to see and pitch in and have a voice on that.
Well, no. So there's abilities to permission some of this information through the supply chain. So we can release some, but we can also keep some very private. We're using a DLT called HoloChain, which has the ability to also bring a very, very public data or very private. It has the ability to do both.
Any incentives to use this for the participants of the construction ecosystem?
Absolutely. So just by using this, you're automating all of these contractual terms. This keeps people up at night. It used to keep me up at night. There's also, by bringing the supply chain in, there's, in any construction project, 63% of the time spent is actually waiting for plant and materials. So if we can forward plan that through the supply chain, there's some massive benefits that can bring.
Okay, so how big is this what's called blockchain network that you envisage? Because the supply chain in this industry could be huge.
Absolutely.
Who needs nodes? Who needs to be part of this?
So HoloChain is has its own agent. So every user is an agent. Mm-hmm. So every computer that is on the platform becomes a node.
Your time is up. Thank you so much. Next, we have Kreenist. They're building a community-generated fashion ecosystem of equal opportunities that connects key fashion players in a unique and transparent and fair way.
I have a question for you. When was the last time you went shopping and you discovered a new fashion designer that you like? Today, the situation in fashion industry is pretty grim. Well-established brands and shops are expanding at a worrying rate, and while doing so, they are eating all the latecomers. Today, if you are a new fashion designer who doesn't have piles of money to burn on advertising, you are no one. Imagine how many fashion designers based only here in Dubai will probably never be discovered. Even though fashion industry's revenue is expected to rise from $480 billion to more than $700 billion by the end of 2022, it is still projected that only this year, more than 10,000 fashion stores will close. This fact not only inspired us, but also obliged us to do something that fights for talent, creativity, and diversity. Because of this, today I'm honored to present you Primpy. Primpy is a new user-generated digital economy that changes the relationship between consumers, service providers, and shops, connecting them all in a closed-loop global platform where each action benefits all users. Primpy aims to bridge the gap between the online and the offline. One of many things we are developing inside of Primpy is a personalized shopping experience where real-life stores will have an insight into customers' wardrobes and thus be able to provide them a more precise shopping suggestions. A platform where local businesses who have little to no reach will be able to use to create their digital stores free of charge, and a platform where customers will receive push notifications once they're in proximity of a store which has an item that is on their wish list. Using blockchain technology, Primpy will not only help users with transparency and security, but it will also eliminate bank processing times and lower today's fees on international transactions. Further down the road, Primpy's blockchain will be used to help fashion designers protect their items and fight for their authenticity. Primpy, a small step to the future cities of tomorrow.
Can you explain a little bit more detail what is the blockchain use case here? Because I think that can also be put on a just a conventional database, maybe encrypted to a certain extent. So why a blockchain for that?
Yeah. So one of the things we wanted to do is to give voice to small brands, small people, and give voice to people globally. We have an issue today that in third world countries, people are producers of, I don't know, clothes, are taken out of the picture because the middlemen step in. And as you want to cut out the middleman, you encounter an issue that is international transactions. So we have a platform where you, I don't know, an Indian guy can sell a clothing to USA. And you have a currency conversion. So as soon as you have these bank processing times during the weekends, we know you will have to wait Monday for the payment to arrive to the US. So with the implementation of own cryptocurrency, we are able to eliminate that processing time and at the same time lower the fees for these transactions, because there are no banks taking their percentages for these transactions, but yeah, that's it.
I simply don't get the cryptocurrency part here, right? Because I think the smart contract might make sense for the settlement layer here to remove these frictions. But what is the cryptocurrency story? Maybe you can expand on that. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Maybe you can explain the crypto part, the cryptocurrency part in this business model.
Oh yeah, so the cryptocurrency, we selected it because we wanted to create an escrow system which protects both parties, because we have here also the trust issue when somebody ships something to the other side of the world. So we are acting as an intermediary, and we are taking our fee out of the cryptocurrency being used, where it's not important which currency was used, because it's always the one currency. Thank you.
Okay, I want to add something. I want to add something. Fashion industry has a lot of problems, and none of that is payment. The problem is that the factories are polluting when they're using colors they're polluting the rivers, and they're poisoning the communities. There are underage children in sweatshops. Also, fashion industry contributes a lot to the pollution, because tons and tons of outdated fashion is being dumped in the oceans. So how about using blockchain technology to tackle those problems? Because when I saw fashion, I was like, fantastic. Now we can talk about real issues saving our planet, because we only have one planet, right?
Yeah.
That is great, enabling commerce, but let's use blockchain for the things that matter.
Yeah, sorry, can I add something? This is one of the things that we wanted to do, as I said, further down the road. this problem of fakes that are on the market, that big brands have, is also one of the things that adds to this polluting of used clothing. That's why we wanted to create a mechanism where brands, where designers can protect their items and ensure that no fakes come to the market. So yeah, at least a small piece of this problem we're trying to solve.
Thank you so much.
You.
Next up, we have DEIP World. They are developing a blockchain solution for scientific workflows. Their goal is to accelerate innovation and enable more scientific discoveries.
My name is Alex Shkor. I'm CEO of DIP, a digital infrastructure for future science. Science is a major source of innovation. And any breakthrough, is it in healthcare or AI, has to have a scientific foundation behind it. And science is the foundation for innovation in Dubai. It's recognized by Dubai visionary leader, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. The pursuit of science and knowledge is among the pillars of any nation's path to sustainable advancement. But if it's so important, why don't we have a sustainable advancement of science itself? Why don't we see a clear way and structured infrastructure to improve science? The problem is that in order to improve science, we need a way to measure its efficiency. We need to know what is the impact of each specific research, what is the efficiency of each scientific workflow, and it's not measured now. And because of this, it hinders acceleration of science. It hinders acceleration of innovation. But now we have a solution. We are the team of tech entrepreneurs, academics, and software architects. We are here to advance science using blockchain technology. Our solution is to unite all stakeholders of scientific ecosystem under the common digital infrastructure, which will enable data integrity, collaboration, and transparency. For this, we have already developed our own blockchain, specifically designed for scientific workflows. It provides workflows to create and evaluate research, distribute grants, and publish research results. Imagine Smart Dubai research platform powered by DIP technology. On this platform, digital scientist Sarah can publish a research, can attract funding for it, can submit a peer review, and even join international research group using just her private key. It's completely paperless, takes milliseconds, and can be done from anywhere in the world. By capturing all these workflows under the common digital infrastructure, we unveil digital footprint of science, a historical structured data secured in the blockchain storage. Using these records, our platform provides a way to extract metrics and insights to estimate and predict innovation.
It's time for the questions from the
Let me just finish a bit. Yeah, and so together with our platform, Dubai can become an enabler of digital infrastructure for future science. It will attract greatest minds from all over the world and advance acceleration of science in the region. Let's advance science together. Thank you.
Questions?
So why Dubai? And how are you going to get the money funneled to research and development in Dubai? That's the problem here, to get somebody to fund it here. How does that help?
To be honest, like if you visit website of Science Dubai, I can't remember a link you provide, where we took a quotation from which I presented. So it's obviously that Dubai is very aligned with our vision. And getting funding is not the most important. Most important is to provide efficient infrastructure for getting funding. And then we can get funding from all over the world.
I'm not sure I agree with you there, because we've tried to attract funding for R&D, and we actually have it on the table right now. It's not an efficiency question. It's finding the people that would actually invest in R&D. There's plenty of institutions around the world that is ready, that's doing this today. But
I don't know exact budget of R&D in Dubai, but I know it's in the world. It's $2.3 trillion. We can capture a fraction of it from the beginning and show how more efficient our system is, and then it will expand.
So sorry, I'm just really interested in this. So you could actually help. Let's say if we want to do some R&D here, you can connect people around the world or institutions around the world with us, with scientists and so on, and we can create R&D here.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying? Is that what you can do?
You not even here. It's like on the blockchain, you can have international research group from. Is it mine?
That's probably mine.
From all over the world, and platform facilitates it, and it reduces your operational cost and minimizing risk by predicting impact of your research on very early stages.
Thank you. I think that's all the time we have. Sorry. On the next one.
Yeah. I'm happy to answer your questions afterwards.
Maybe a quick. Or maybe not. Do you have any numbers of adoption, and how do you identify the stakeholders to broadcast this chain, so that if somebody starts a research, how do you know that you need 4 or 5 certain participants and get them on the blockchain?
Yeah, so we've done already big path, and we're identifying the biggest, most important stakeholders to join science foundations and grant givers, because they're a gateway to whole ecosystem. So, and also we have a consortium of.
So do you have actual numbers of adoption today?
Yeah, so actual number of adoption, we are running right now public beta with pan-European organization Eurodoc, which involves 29 countries and researchers from pan-European region.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Молодец, хорошо выступили.
Thank you. Next up, we have Digitix. They are a digital ticketing platform built on Ethereum, which aims to reduce ticket scalping by putting tickets on the blockchain and smart contracts.
Check. Can you hear me? We're good? Cool. Awesome. So thank you very much. My name is Brandon West. Today I'll be presenting Digitix, a digital ticketing platform on the Ethereum blockchain. So why should we put tickets on the blockchain? Well, if we look at some of the big issues in the ticketing industry, among them are scalping. People have found very sophisticated ways to buy up bulk amounts of tickets and then sell them back to the consumers at up to 25 times the price, which happened not too long ago in the UAE. And this was supposed to be unauthorized ticket sales, and it's supposed to be prohibited. With the blockchain via smart contracts, you can actually help enforce some of these rules. This ticketing industry, the secondhand market, has actually become a $15 billion per year industry, and it's built on the backs of the artists and their fans. And if you're one of these fans who actually buys a ticket from one of these scalpers and pays hundreds or thousands of dollars, you're still not guaranteed a real ticket. Unfortunately, 5 million fake tickets are sold every single year, and that's $1.3 billion are spent on fake tickets every single year. And in one instance, this poor guy from India flew all the way to Dubai and found out that his ticket was actually fake. And there's been multiple warnings to people out there saying, hey, watch out for fake tickets. It's very hard to prove. But with the blockchain, you can put these tickets on the blockchain. So when you purchase a ticket, everyone knows that you have a ticket, and that ticket will work guaranteed to that event. So you can help protect the consumers. With peer-to-peer, you can also lower some of the fees in the industry, as well as enable ticket controls. So you actually can make these tickets anti-scalp, so they can actually be non-transferable. So if you buy a ticket, you have to attend. Here's a quick demo of the actual platform. Step 1 is to actually create the event. So we're going to go ahead and create the Future Blockchain Summit. Type in the venue name, type in the address of the actual event, issue tickets, 30,000, put in the date of the event. When you do this, you're publishing your event to the actual blockchain and the smart contract. So we can go ahead and browse events as the actual consumer to actually see this event on the actual smart contract. So go ahead into event details, and we can see all the details of the actual event. You notice there's no tickets yet, but we also own the event, so we're going to actually go into our event admin page, look into the event details, and actually check out all the details. We have a dashboard of all the information about our event, edit information here, and we actually produce tickets here. So we're going to go ahead and create 1,000 VIP tickets and publish those. As soon as those are published, any users can buy those tickets. So we're going to go back to browse events, go back to the event details of that actual event, and then we can actually see that our tickets are published, and we can actually buy one of these tickets. So we're going to go ahead and buy one of our own tickets. And so what happens, that ticket goes to your ticket wallet. So we can go down to our ticket wallet, we see our ticket, here's our QR code, and on the day of the event the event admin needs to scan these tickets to the event. So we'll take our QR code, we'll go to the event, scan the QR code, the ticket is then validated, and then the ticket is then used. So now everyone knows that that ticket is actually used and can no longer be used again. There's a couple people that are working on this. We're amongst one of them. We've actually done a couple events and have a couple in the pipeline. Another thing that sets us apart is actually we have injection scripts. So we actually can inject our smart contracts into existing sites and actually sell tickets from their own site so they can keep their UI. And this works perfectly for places like Dubai, where we can easily integrate our smart contracts into existing events. I worked at Disney, Royal Caribbean. We have an international support team, and we've won multiple events in the past. And now we're here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Questions? Yeah, sure. So basically, I'm going to go to the core of the issue of this, which is scalping tickets. And scalping tickets are done through faking paper tickets. And today in Dubai, we have digital tickets. And no one has faked a ticket by hacking the centralized system and creating a fake ticket. All the scalping is happening by falsifying paper tickets. So I'm going to argue that you don't really need blockchain because the centralized system never failed. And I would like to know your opinion on this.
So with these paper tickets, they can still have a QR code. And so you can still understand, you can scan that QR code yourself as a fan. So if you're trying to sell me a ticket, I can scan that QR code. Yep, that's a legit ticket. And then also in the smart contract, if we do swap the tickets, I can pay you directly. And only
swap paper or digital tickets?
It would be digital. So you're saying the paper side.
Yeah.
So when you do swap the tickets on the paper side, it also then it changes the QR code. So you can still change that as well. So you can actually receive an email.
I'm sorry, that's not clear. So basically, today, the fake tickets happen through falsifying paper. And a digital centralized system protects you from that. So why do you need to decentralize?
So
what's the value?
Where's the value in the decentralization?
Yeah.
So if I scan your ticket, and if I can tell that it's a real ticket or not. So if I buy that.
Today, you can scan a real ticket, and it goes to the centralized database. And we've never had any problems of people hacking into the centralized system and creating a fake digital ticket. So you're solving a non-problem. It's nice to be on blockchain, but in actuality, there is no problem with a centralized digital ticket. It's the paper ticket, which still the blockchain cannot solve, because if you are able to fake it, whether it's centralized or decentralized, it's still going to work.
We could go into that further into detail afterwards when we spend more time. There's multiple other issues beyond just that, and that may be one use case that people can still kind of get scammed on. But there's multiple different issues with the scalping and stuff like that, where you could actually enforce some of those rules that you cannot transfer the ticket. So,
once you digitize, we have never encountered any issue of scalping. But the issue is that when you do create the fake paper and you bypass the guard, and that's when you're able to get into these problems.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have DSC, a decentralized index for shipping, ports, supply chain, and logistics.
Can you turn it on, please? Thank you. Welcome, everybody. My name is Hans. Try to introduce myself. We try to take blockchain to the next level. The real thing we have to solve is connecting industries. And you're not doing that by the current systems like blockchain. We try to enable it with the features that are the advantages of blockchain, but without the disadvantages of blockchain. Please have a look at this harbor. Really, really, really good. Robotic trains, everything automated. But are they really, really high tech? because their back office looks like this and still works like this, maybe a little bit more digital, but there's no connection between industries, and the sunk costs are huge. So what's the problem? No one wants to open up their iPhone for a stranger. So what do? You don't open up your ERP system for a stranger, a competitor, someone totally strange. What we did, let me tell you the story how we came up with the idea. We built the largest track and trace system on the blockchain for the largest book printer in the US, and they embedded it in their printers to track and trace their bookings. And for that, we got invited at Samsung, and we were walking, because they want to make sure you feel at home in South Korea, so we were walking in the museum, and we thought we have to solve it the same way they solved it with the internet. You have to connect the systems, but keep people and let them be in charge of their own data. So what we did, we've built a decentralized data exchange, which has the advantages of blockchain technology, but it's scalable, and you don't have to be present in time and place. If you see this, you can bridge the gap between all the data. The port can be notified even when there's no connection on the same blockchain. If I'm Maersk, my competitor CMA won't use the same blockchain like they do now. That enables co-creation, building consortium between those industries, keeps the present systems in place, reduces a huge amount of maintenance, and global trade could increase, which is really nice, make the place a happier place. But when you're leading and thinking about blockchain, you also need to think about leading in exchanging data, which that is what we want to do. We want to make it decentralized, traceable, track and trace. The good things, but we also want to make it scalable, efficient. How do we do it? We have the founding father of the XML standards, ESB buses, and he built Oracle Fusion and Weibo by hand. We have an innovation diplomat from MIT Sloan, an entrepreneurial side in to get the traction on. Thanks.
Thank you.
So I am actually, hello. So I am actually ex-Maersk. So Maersk failed in their efforts with IBM because the second largest shipping group went and built their own. Yeah. And then the third largest, it wasn't a shipping group, it's a consortium, went and built their own. So they failed. Yeah. And they've got billions to spend. True. And they've got, but that's not the money what is important, the data. So imagine the data they have. So if they failed, how would you succeed?
No one would use, you need to interconnect the systems like you interconnect the internet. If you build a consortium, the other consortium won't join. You have to connect the consortiums. That's why we built the decentralized data exchange. So I can exchange the data you need, but the rest is private. And it's permissioned with the advantages of blockchain technology. So we have to take blockchain technology a step further because I would not use your blockchain and you would not use mine.
No, but
we have to interconnect
How
them.
do you differentiate yourself? Because supply chain is a great use case for blockchain. Like, I think it's the second best after crypto. And that's why there's so many companies doing supply chain on blockchain. So how are you differentiating yourself? What's the value add?
It's applicable to every industry, every supply chain. But the supply chain can also be the exchange of data. We want to interconnect the world together like they interconnected the internet. So you need bridges to enable that.
And this is different than other existing blockchain supply chain solutions?
You don't need a blockchain if you have a server. You need to connect the data systems, the ERP systems. You need to connect those. You don't need a blockchain.
So you have decoupled from blockchain knowledge.
Yeah,
That's what
so
you're
you
saying.
don't need the time and space to be present to exchange the data because blockchains use transactions to enable, but we use the data itself. So it takes it a step further.
Any early success use cases, any adoption so far?
R.R. Donnelly, the Port of Rotterdam, and we're implementing it in the local government, the social welfare in the Netherlands.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We're going to be taking a short 10-minute break and then resume the competition afterwards.
Merci.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kyle, and for the last year and a half, I've worked in a startup that I founded called Evera in Dubai, based in Dubai. So we're mainly focused on sustainable mobility, and the platform that I'm going to present to you today is called Inertia. As you know, electric vehicles are growing very fast in the UAE, especially charging stations as well. So we have issues where there are too many cars, not enough stations. This also happens on public charging stations. So DIWA and Smart Dubai give you a green card that you can use and charge for free. But the problem is, what happens when there's too many cars and not enough stations? EV owners and EV drivers that we've talked to in the community, they say there are a lot of questions that they have about EVs. Right now, you have individual stations that are communicating to individual clouds. But what Inertia is going to do is actually present one cloud that each station can be communicating to, and that information can now be shared with the actual driver. So they can know where a station is that's available and how it works. So basically, hopefully through the Dubai Now app, you can create a profile, you locate a station, pre-book, start your session when you get there, leave it when you're finished. You get motivated to now move your car off the station, which is a big problem that happens right now. So a live stream of station information, full charge notification once you're there. We hope that with RTA we can perhaps integrate parking fees. And the blockchain is really relevant here because we're talking about a lot of sensitive data that's being exchanged, very small transactions that happen, and definitely it's something that we know is very important in specifically in this. Sorry. Okay. So we have there's 600 stations right now that our organization is mapping within the UAE. These are all public stations for 2,000 vehicles. But with the growth, this market is expected to triple in the next 2 years. In MENA, Jordan has 20,000 vehicles and only 100 stations. So it's a huge issue that's now coming up. We have strategic partnerships already set up with Here Technologies, which provides the back end for a lot of the OEMs. We also work with the companies that are installing chargers in the UAE. And through Threefold, we have access to a huge amount of resources when it comes to developers, when it comes to tech companies. This team has done 7 successful tech exits in the past. Our business model is really simple. If there is a transaction, we have a small fee. It's a subscription service to have access to the premium features. And data, obviously, is a really key part of this because we want to push the sector to grow for the electric vehicles. This is our platform, and these are our servers that we have 10 minutes away from here in Dubai, cloud servers.
Thank you, Kai. Judges?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, thank you. I want to ask about performance. Is there any performance issues in getting the validation between the rest of the parties?
Yeah, so we've already actually talked to a lot of the people who have the private stations. DIWA has 200 stations, and the other 200 that are based in Dubai are all privately managed and privately worked on. So we're actually in discussions right now, signing agreements, because we want to launch this platform in the next month.
Okay, and what would you say the major business problem you're solving? Is it gonna affect the end cost of each charging station, or how would that?
So one thing that's a big problem for the owners of the charging stations is that they're not receiving any ROI. They cannot sell electricity because only DIWA can sell electricity. But they can actually get other information like the data about who's visiting their stations, how often, things like this, analytics that we can provide. The other issue is because, again, we want to grow this sector. So right now we're sort of setting, I would say, the foundation for what will become a much bigger issue very soon in the future.
Okay, so there will be a kickback to the station owners because of the data that they're going to be getting. Okay.
So what is the network effect that you will create with the token or with the user interface? I mean,
Yeah.
And leading, further on, can these also be resolved outside of a blockchain solution?
So blockchain here, for us, it makes perfect sense because we already have a blockchain actually. So through Threefold, they already have, it's its own blockchain. It's not Ethereum based or anything. So we have the network already set up here. We might as well use it. And this is actually a really good use case because it's a problem that everyone is facing right now that needs a solution.
Have you included the Tesla charging stations as well in that?
So the Tesla charging stations, we have a piece of software, hardware that can be added on to these stations and can make them smart. Because you're right, right now all the Tesla stations are not smart. They're not connected. If you want to connect to figure out what's wrong with your Tesla station, you have to plug it into your vehicle. And then it's through the vehicle that it will determine what's wrong with the station.
Threefold is great. I'm a big fan of Threefold.
Yeah, great.
Perfect. Thank you, Kyle. Fantastic. Our next company also operates in the mobility sector. From the UAE, we now go to Bulgaria for FF Quest.
One of the co-founders of FF Quest. We are developing a mobility platform with 4 pillars, which are car rental platform, ride-sharing service, peer-to-peer car renting, which is more or less the same concept as Airbnb, but for cars and on blockchain, and parking space sharing. Previously to that project, I was working in IBM. We have a decent team of 18 members, advisors including. We have advisors from IBM, Microsoft. We are partnering already with 2 universities. Sorry. Yes. We are partnering with 2 universities already, the biggest IT university in Bulgaria and Stony Brook from New York. I can bet that we have at least dozen use cases for Dubai, but the most interesting one, which I found on internet, that's my first time in Dubai, hopefully not the last one, was the use case with the RTA authorities. Years ago, they started a ride-sharing platform, which was quite innovative at that time, but unfortunately, last year it was stopped. It was stopped and frozen since the issues of the ride-sharing transport appeared, which are cars in not good technical condition, not insured visitor seats, and some other crimes along the road. How our platform can easily be customized for the city of Dubai and resolve these issues. First of all, only licensed drivers could participate on the platform, and they could be a variety of such as taxi drivers, limo drivers, Uber, Kareem drivers, etc. Our service will be for free, and for them, it could be just additional income. Also, it will be nice for the visitors of Dubai, since imagine that instead of paying $30, you can share with 1 or 2 unknown for your visitors the ride and pay half or a third of the normal fee. Of course, it will be nice for the RTA authority, since our program could be an additional tool for them to rethink and restart again their program. Thank you. Sorry for the...
What is the underlying technology that you use for your blockchain solution?
Sorry?
What is the underlying technology that you're using for your blockchain? Has this been built on your own, or are you using
It's
a
under
protocol?
development, and the beta version will hopefully be online the next quarter, Q2, this year.
So what you're trying to do is basically to remove the middleman and disrupt Uber and Kareem and these guys.
Exactly. And to base it on the freemium model. This is the other pillar of our program, since only if our service is for free, both for suppliers and users, we can compete consistently with the big multi-billion players on the other side.
Hello? Yeah, I just want to summarize the value proposition here. So blockchain removes the middle person that gives you cost efficiency. Is this correct?
Exactly.
Okay, and that's why you are using blockchain.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the only way how we can automate the database and offer a service for free. We are basing on the freemium model, as I said, and only...
I have to say, your business model is really good, but your pitch maybe should be better.
Okay.
If you allow me to say this. I think you're onto something very good, but maybe displaying this information could use some work, if you allow me.
Thank you very much for the advice.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? Perfect. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a company that looks into the future of work and on freelancers. Joseph.
I've not got the clicker. Thank you very much, Dubai. We are the gig economy platform, automating jobs, exporting talent, and importing what you will see today as the future of work. We're here to make the Dubai the hub of the whole world, distributing digital work in collaboration with digital currencies, cash, and transactional payment methods, i.e. debit and credit cards. As it stands now, the global estimated value of freelancing stands at $3.7 trillion. We say here today that a very good fraction of $3.7 trillion in this estimate arises here from Dubai, if you look at the construction going around here. Now, what we're building within this ecosystem distributes work, files taxes, distributes payments, and reduces costs. The most important thing. This is an illustration of the back end of our ecosystem. So you have the tokenized payments, exchanging, peer-to-peer, person-to-person. You have the efficiency and the smoothness, the fastness of exchanging value, which the blockchain is about. A platform that facilitates cryptocurrency, Visa, debit, MasterCards, cash. And then you have a decentralized unit that services what is called the sharing economy. A perfect example is Uber. However, Uber cannot send you a cleaner. Uber cannot send you a chef. Uber cannot send you a bodyguard if you need. Uber cannot send you a doctor. It's very simple. Automating and bringing step-by-step clicks to arrive at a very convenient and easy solution. Here you have a test play of exactly what the application looks like. Thank you for inviting us to Dubai. We will spread work. We will make people's daily bread achievable from your handphones anywhere in the world. On the soil of Dubai, we will provide 50 million jobs every hour around the world. That is what we have now as to how the whole process follows. Your own personal assistants, who tells you wherever your data has been, who informs you of anything that's been done with your data. There is your personal data information minister, GDPR from Europe. Thank you. Solution.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
So we invested, I think it was like 6-7 years ago, in a platform called...
I can't hear you, so I'm so sorry.
We invested some 6-7 years ago in a platform called NapBesh.
Okay.
It's a freelancer platform. And the problem was not really the payment that you're suggesting here, but the churn. That once you know the person that's doing a job for you, you just go straight to the person and circumvent the platform.
Yes.
How are you gonna address? Can you?
Well,
address
once
that?
you circumvent people, you are taking up a very risky outside the border contract. Now, as it is where I come from, there are no exchange of smart contracts. But having circumvented using a registered traceable profile, you are at risk of losing your money to anybody for any work not particularly fulfilled up to your own requirement. So you would find out you pay something for nothing if I decide to be a bad character.
Okay.
Do I get paid in Gigicoin, or what
You
do I get paid in?
You get paid. Nobody is here to disrupt what is going on in the world, cash. But then as time moves on, you would have the decision to either continue to pay with cash or switch to digital currency, or probably it might be Bitcoin, it might be Ethereum. It's what works today. So we have given you the choice.
So today, what do I pay with today?
Today, the gig economy coin itself, Visa and MasterCard, and cash on the platform.
But I think it will be preferable for your platform if Gigicoin is used.
If you give me this support, yes, we will force that.
But then as a freelancer, the minute I started the job, the Gigicoin is $1. By the time I finish the job, the Gigicoin is 30 cents. How do I protect myself?
It is the gas. Gigicoin is the gas for the platform.
Okay.
So whilst Gigicoin is the gas, you have to hold a certain amount of token anyway, whatever you do on this platform, in order for us to be able to verify you, put you on the chain, and make you available to the world for the world to be hired.
Have you thought about implementing stablecoin solution?
Yes, we are a stablecoin actually. What we are doing is we are putting the value of our cryptocurrency against the value of the technology. Whilst it's
Finish the sentence.
So whilst it's against the value of the technology, it's also against the dollar at any one particular time. So yes, we are stable, not just against cash, but against the value of the technology itself combined together.
That's quite a novel concept in stablecoins. I think I need to do my research there. But thank you for introducing it first here in
That's
Dubai.
within the DAO. Within the DAO, you are allowed to put your currency against the stability against the DAO.
Well, the beautiful of smart contracts, you're allowed to do whatever you want. It's just whether the people buy it or not.
Well, that's why it's marketed towards corporate entities.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you. Thank you, Dubai.
Our next company is from Canada and operates in the energy sector. Christopher, the stage is yours.
Sorry. Just turn it off first.
Start.
Is it on? Okay. Hi, I'm Chris Cherovino, and I'm the founder of Gray Block Power. So what I'd like to talk about is how we build energy and why it's important. And so whether it be the lights in this room or however you got here today or the AC that cools your home, you need energy to power your life. And so I thought the most interesting and rewarding thing you could do is go and learn how to build and distribute electricity. So that's where I found myself working at a public utility. And what I discovered is that working there as an individual, it's very hard to invest in a clean energy asset of $100 million or more, like a solar facility, which is pretty common. And what utilities do is actually they just charge everyone 30 cents, and then that goes to go and build the asset. So if you think about it, that's a crowd-funded business model, which is an excellent application for the blockchain. So what Gray Block Power has built is a digital bond-like product that is a two-token system that separates out the security and the dividend payment. We've also optimized it so that all transactions are of high value so that it is scalable. And so with this system, you can have tens of thousands of individual investors go invest in a local energy project that then pays them out as if they had owned a fractional amount of it in real money. The benefits of the system are broad, and actually it acts as a competitive advantage for small energy developers, and we are speaking to multiple parties in Canada today who are interested in this type of platform. So the question is, why blockchain? And the reason is that a smart meter is a super secure, transparent, unfraudable accounting system that can speak directly to the blockchain that cuts out lots of bureaucratic costs and settlement issues. Again, when you have a digital bond that's peer-to-peer, totally liquid, with no third party, no conventional financial system can provide that today. So Dubai Integrated Energy Strategy wants to go from 2020 to 2050, 7% renewable clean energy to 75%. With that amount of investment, they'll need to mobilize significant private investment. And so with this system, $100 million with the population of Dubai, that's $35 each, which is maybe the cost of your dinner tonight. Coming to Dubai for the first time, going to the tallest building in the world, what you quickly realize is Dubai is an ambitious and growing city. They're going to need a lot of energy, they're going to need it cheap and clean. So with a global partner like Smart Dubai, we can create a completely integrated, holistic energy system that invests local capital and can be a model for the world. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Judges?
So you say it's a bond, right?
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So it's supposed to be a bond, which means...
it acts like a bond.
It acts like a bond. So you're paying a fixed coupon to the holder, or...?
In a way, yes.
How do you protect yourself? How do you hedge yourself internally against fluctuations of your own coin or whatever it is?
So it's because it's backed by real cash flows, like a real tangible asset, and usually these use power purchase agreements, which means you deliver every megawatt, I pay you $80. Then you just determine what the O&M is, minus that, then it's a cash flow, and that's what the coupon would be. So you'd figure it out, and you'd have you'd basically look at you would have this all disclosed in a regulatory document.
Yeah. But the bondholder basically holds a token which will be listed on some exchange, or is it just an OTC kind of?
The token just acts as an incredibly transparent, secure accounting system. And then when you cash it out, you get real money. It's now what you're doing is you're basically allowing the accounting system to be taken inside out almost, and you can see what's happening at individual asset levels.
This is very. This is very similar to last year's winner. They focused on solar. I think you're taking it a step further, which is you're supporting all kinds of energy sources. So in order to ensure success, I'm going to ask you a question about the end user. What kind of ROI does the local investor can expect of such relatively high risk approach? I mean, this is the trend and it makes total sense, but in order to turn this into reality, how can you sell the end product?
So there's a few things. One is you look at the cost of capital of these types of projects, and currently it's around 7%. For smaller energy developers of like $10 million assets or less, which are batteries or maybe local community, the cost of capital can be even higher. So the return for that would be maybe 7%, 9%. You can look at IHS CERA. That's kind of what it, but it is trending downwards. Another thing is this kind of allows it to be a market-based return on a crowd's expectation.
So today you can offer 7% to a small investor?
Depends what type of project, who's backing the PPA, who's the offtake, what's the risk.
Do you have any current customers or any
Yes,
real cases
yes.
at 7%?
Someone for actually higher than that. They're looking for capital of a small project of a little bit higher than that.
What's the minimum I could invest with? Minimum amount of money?
I think with this system, considering like to transfer a digital bond to you is $1.50, so it could be pretty low.
But that's not the problem. But that's not the problem. The regulation is the problem. You can't go to retail. You have to have institutional investors. You have, because it's a security, it's a bond. Great, I like it. Which countries are you operational in?
Sorry?
Which countries are you operational in?
We understand the regulatory landscape in Canada, which always follows the states. So if we're compliant in Canada, we would expect to be compliant in states.
But which countries your projects are now?
Sorry?
Which countries do you have projects now?
Only in Canada.
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you.
Next up, a company from Indonesia that works in the agriculture sector. Jim.
Test. Hey everyone, my name is Jim. I'm co-founder of iGrowChain. iGrowChain is a blockchain solution for food security problem. The world needs to produce at least 50% more food in order to feed 9 billion people by 2050. In addition, climate change could cut crop yield more than 25%. Unless we change how we grow our food and manage our natural capital, food security, especially for the world poorest, will be at risk. This is the problem that we see. There are farmers who have no land and money to start planting. Then we have a lot of unproductive land, and also people who have money, but they have no option other than traditional investment. In iGrow, we connect them together. We create a whole farming supply chain become feasible. We build scalable farms which are funded by urban people and sell the crop directly to the buyer. We create web platform and mobile app. With this, everybody can be a farmers without have a land or farming skill. Using blockchain, we provide traceability in any agriculture process and product, which will give reliable system to all stakeholders. We use IGU as our utility token. It is the internal currency with currency rates varies according to each product referring to. With this approach, it will be a universal unit that can be used to measure in any product. Our token based on asset declaration. Its value protected from inflation and speculation risk, and also guaranteed with real asset backup. We use this token to finance our agriculture project in our system and to create token economic wealth creation to all stakeholders. We take 5% free from the investor money, and then the investor will get up to 20% ROI per year from the agriculture project profit sharing. We already proved our model. There are a lot of commodities already harvested and gave good return to the investor. The key of our approach is we always secure the demand before start planting. Every commodities and our platform already had a buyer, so we can secure the investor money. We are 4.5 years now, already disbursed $9 million to 7,500 farmers across of Indonesia. We have a strong product market fit with 95% become a repeat investor, and we have 50,000 members already on board in our platform. I believe we can do well by doing good, by investing and creating impact at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, I just want to say that very well put, very clear.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate the end result that a QR code can be scanned and we'll know the history of this end product. So I would say good job, really good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I would like to join and say very good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Very well explained.
Thank you so much.
Very, this is exactly what we need, to support the communities, and investors are getting their returns. Very nicely done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic.
I have a question.
Yes.
So how is this applicable to Dubai? Did you do any market research in Dubai? How are the markets are now?
I think the agriculture problem in Dubai is to minimize water using for agriculture. with tokenize the asset, tokenize the agriculture, we can make a lot of people participate. So with this fund, we can make more farmers and more willingness from the people to join the movement to make agriculture is the next big thing in Dubai, to feed a lot of people, because it is our common problem. We have to eat food at least 3 times a day.
So your use case is now mainly in Indonesia, right? So
yeah, we are operating now in Indonesia.
Okay, so where is this token registered? Under which jurisdiction do you operate?
In Indonesia, this year we have a regulation on sandbox of blockchain, so we are registered in Indonesia. Our government made a regulation about blockchain sandbox.
Got it. So if you revert to the market here, you might need to adapt to the local regulations with regards to the security utility token, or have you looked into that as well?
Yeah, we will adapt with, if we operating in other country like Dubai or the other country, we will adapt the regulation. But currently we are in Indonesia.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. Great. Our next contestant is not only our youngest contestant, but also our only woman who is part of this competition, Nasima from Matchblock from the UK. Let me check. Yeah, you can go.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Is that okay? Is that better? Can everybody hear me? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nasima Khalik, and I am founder to Medblock. I found Medblock 2 years ago at the age of 20 years old. Medblock seeks to disrupt the healthcare industry in a revolutionary manner. To start with, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, and I am perplexed at the current existing healthcare system. E-records just aren't cutting it. It's not good enough for us in 2019 to say, khalas, we're done. We've moved from paper records to digital forms, and that this is sufficient enough. When we have paper records sitting in our files within desktops, this isn't the effective use of data that we could be realizing. In order to encapsulate the power of data and exactly how we may see that translate within the healthcare industry, I would just like to say, in 2011, a family member of mine was diagnosed with a specific disease by the name of Fabry. Now, what's different about Fabry is directly impacted by the rates and by the efficiency of the diagnostic process. So if Fabry is not detected, it can directly impact the survival rates with a patient suffering from this disease. Now, this is apparent within or across a number of different diseases where diagnostic rates are essential. So what does healthcare data look like today? This might look familiar to a lot of us. And that's because predominantly we are still operating with paper-based records, and in 2019, that's simply not good enough. What could it look like with blockchain? Well, my company proposes the deployment of blockchain in order to advance medical data analytics. We take data, raw data, we place it on the blockchain, we securely privatize that data, anonymizing it for the adopted use of data analytics. Medblock's solution is a personal one because we understand that technology should be used to serve an end use. And what could be more important and what is more personal than medical data? This is a depiction of our portal. We join together healthcare services, GP centres and hospitals. At present, hospital records and GP records within Dubai is not homogeneous, and that's a massive issue, and that's a massive drain and bureaucracy. Setting international standards. We are patient-led and we are patient-controlled, and we hope to empower patients across Dubai and internationally. Distributing diagnostic technology could be life-saving, and I would urge you to all consider that blockchain purposes leveraged within healthcare. This could mean impactful things for Dubai. Imagine if Dubai could break the mold and set global standards for medical data analytics. It's something that already countries are beginning to do. After all, His Highness has demonstrated that Dubai would like to be innovators in the field of healthcare, especially with healthcare tourism. We understand blockchain as a means to a very important end. Sorry, I've been a bit delayed. We're ready for healthcare deployment. IBM are our official partners, and we've built our technology on Hyperledger Fabric. I'm now open to questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nassim.
Finally, someone addressing the trust issue through blockchain. So excellent job on that.
Thank you.
That affects the end user. When you tell the end user it's on blockchain, it affects something for them directly. And this is the first that we have seen today. So excellent job in utilizing of blockchain. One quick question, are you giving incentives of the clinics and hospitals to be on that platform?
Exactly. We understand the fact that this needs to be an institutionalized approach. We shouldn't be incrementally gaining patients. We should be placing it, for example, in line with Dubai's health authority, and it must be implemented at such a level. So to answer your question, we would like to implement it across the 27 existing hospitals within Dubai, as we're aware that Dubai hopes to expand the number of hospitals.
In addition to that, I would suggest that you build a business model where there's a kickback, there's an advantage, a financial advantage, a quality advantage back to these institutions to incentivize them to be on your network. Excellent job.
I agree. So what we've done is there's a different user face for the patient against the medical institution and also against the practitioner, so the doctor. So essentially what we do is we enable healthcare institutions to cut back on their bureaucracy. So you would be surprised at the amount of costs that are exhausted in paperwork. Thank you.
Last question. Do you have live projects? Do you have any live use cases?
We've only just finished our prototype with IBM, so we're ready to deploy. So what we would hope to do is we would hope to scale this up in specific for regions, but we have not gone live yet, no. Thank you so much, everyone.
Our next company is from Argentina, Buenos Aires, and operates in the energy sector. David.
Hi, can you listen to me? I would like to tell you a small story about a place where I come from. I come from the south of Argentina, a place that generates most of the energy that my country uses. I've been working for the last 8 years in this industry, first at Siemens and also being the national advisor for the Energy Transition Project. This happened to my city in 2017. A big storm flooded the city and left 3 million people without electricity for over a week. Data was crucial to solve the problem, but it took us 1 week to solve it, and that's mostly because in Argentina and in many countries, data from the power meters is still being collected in this way, and in some ways it's still connected with paper. Collecting information in paper or in tablets, but not putting it in a real platform, is like being in darkness in the century of digitalization. So, last year we attended the Singularity University Incubator, and we built a prototype that now we launch it in Buenos Aires in 1,000 power meters to collect this information and take it to a platform that is able for the government and for the private companies. So this raises a very interesting question for Dubai that is launching very soon a fully deployed smart grid initiative. It's how we might learn to build and manage cities for the future. This is the project that we're doing in Buenos Aires, showing a heat map of the energy consumption and the state of the grid updated every minute. And that is a small prototype that we are doing in the Netherlands, in Gorkum, where we are visualizing how electricity is being transacted from 20 houses. So this is just the top layer of a platform that we're building for grid management. And the core of this platform is to learn. Why learn? Because we want to build behavioral models so that we can find more efficient ways to use electricity, and also because we want to understand the consumer and we want to find better pricing schemes. Now this takes me to another question, looking at Dubai and at the initiatives that Smart Dubai is taking, which is how can we effectively learn to thrive in the future? Let's imagine what can happen if we leverage the power of artificial intelligence, blockchain, and data to collect this information, make it public, make it transparent, find better pricings, and maybe reduce the cost of a lot of projects here in the real estate and get more efficiency in how we use the grid. This brings us to analyzing cities in a different way. Cities interconnected with the grid in a very autonomous and fully unique entity. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I didn't fully understand the business model of what you do, or is this just a platform that you supply to governments, or is there a business case behind what the offering that you're having?
Yes.
Can you explain that, please?
Yes. We are selling the services to government and to public utilities in Argentina right now, and we hope to send this also to the energy agency in the Netherlands very soon. What we do is we collect information from 1,000 sensors in the pilot in Argentina, and we provided that with an API to these companies. We sell this information in a blockchain because we want to ensure that it's transparency in how we store the information, and because we also want to build pricing models before using this information.
I think the digitization aspect of your offering is amazing and it's really good. But where are the nodes in the blockchain? Because it's per government and it's per country. So why do you need blockchain for that? It seems that it's a centralized solution, but you're using the blockchain as a means of digitizing the data only.
In Buenos Aires, yes, it's centralized because it was the first pilot, and since it's very difficult to disrupt the energy industry, we decided to go with a pilot first and offer the information to the companies. But in the Netherlands, what we're doing is we connected 20 houses with a microgrid, mainly same to what LO3 is doing or what blockchain microgrid did, but our differential is that we have an artificial intelligence, let's say a fuzzy logic algorithm that balances the load in the grid to avoid the problems that Brooklyn microgrid and LO3 may face, which is the blackouts that they can face because of low and high voltages of tension.
So where's the blockchain usage on that?
We are using blockchain to store the information, to make it transparent, and because we want to make better pricing schemes for this, not just having a different price according to a time. Like, for example, in the Netherlands, you can buy electricity at night, store it in a battery, and sell it during the day, because there's a different price.
So lowering the cost of maintenance, basically.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. But the point is, you don't really need an tamper-proof, auditable record with what you're doing. So I would again question the use of blockchain as well, because I think this is the ultimate checkbox that has to be ticked. If you don't have to have this tamper-proof, auditable record, what's the point of using a blockchain at all? So I think this can also be probably solved differently. Or let's put it that way, the blockchain is nice to have here.
Yes, but it's also very powerful for the pilot that we're doing in the Netherlands, which is what we ultimately want to launch, which is an automated system for transactive energy.
I don't have a question. I just want to comment that I applaud what you did with the meter there, or the picture. And I think that's very wise of you, actually, not to replace the whole meter, but to actually have a IoT-based device on the meter, and that takes a lot of innovation. A lot of people don't think that; they think smart grid is replacing the meter, replacing the infrastructure. Yes. But you can have a workaround, and I applaud that.
Yes, at NIRO we do a lot of experimentation, and that drives faster deployments, and we really hope to do this also here in Dubai. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are the first 14 companies. We're now going to take a quick break, and we're going to continue with the remaining 6 in around 10 minutes. Thank you.
All right, we're about to start the third and last part of the competition. Our next company is from Brazil. Ole Sport is the first company to launch a digital bank that will handle business in football. The decentralized platform of players connects young players with potential investors.
Hi. As you heard, we are from Brazil, but we are not here to talk about samba or Rio de Janeiro. We are here to talk about the true face of soccer. Indeed, soccer is the real game of our expectations against reality. Most of the kids now are dreaming to become the next soccer pro, but the reality is very different. Indeed, in fact, just around the world, just 1.5% of the players who are getting into a soccer academy will become a professional. More than 98% of the players are getting out. But I'm not here to talk about how competitive soccer is. I'm here to talk about one unclear process between the first step in the soccer academy to hire a contract. Soccer is also the true game about our own future aspiration. So what inspires us? Look to the best players in the world and know that someone player better than, but we never know. Because they are just 1.5% of the players that are reaching a high levels. We are clapping our hands to them, but we are turning our backs to more than 98% of the players. So what we are doing, we are developing the first decentralized soccer play platform. When a new player comes to our platform, we collect their characters, their skills game, and then we distribute to the numerous sources to validate the information. And when validating these informations, we will bring back trust to the selection process between the clubs. And we will reward the source involved at this process. Our purpose is to discover players, connect them to the investors, follow up, and road them to the top. Where the games happens? In Brazil and South America, but in Dubai, we can achieve a lot of things together. We can use our platform to discover new talents. With new talents and good players coming to play here, we make the Dubai leagues stronger. We encourage our youth to pursue their dreams, something that's not happening in Brazil anymore. We will become a trustable place, a trustable country to start the career, and after this cycle, we can reapply our technology to other sports. Thank you. Let's play together. Muito obrigado.
Can I ask you a question? The first remark here, maybe you can expand a little bit more. Who is the customer of this product? Is it the agent who wants to buy and sell talented players? Is it a club? Is it the end user who wants to get a token on his future, player? What is the model here?
Our first targets are the players, the new players who want to become a professional. They will get involved on our platform, share their informations, then we'll get the informations and give to our source. You could be the player, you could be the source, you could be the manager, you could be everything contributing. What we can't do is take some advantage from the platform. But the platform is for players, is for clubs, for managers, for buyers, and to the soccer academies.
How do you make money?
We are developing the platform. We receive some percent of all the transactions built inside our platform.
I don't watch football. I simply don't have time for this. But recently we have joined hands with Falcao. I'm sure you've heard of him, #1 futsal player in the world, in order to bring education and to kids on the streets in Brazil. And what I never realized is that football has a huge potential. The football players themselves have huge influence over people in South America.
Yes.
So now we're working with Santos Football Club, with Pelé himself, in order to bring education for the kids. Take them off the streets, put them in the stadiums so they can play football and they don't get up to no good. Tell me, are you planning to implement some social responsibility element in your platform? Because football players have enormous voice in South America, and so many kids, boys and girls, look up to them.
Yes. We want to exchange information with the social projects that already have the participants. When we share the information of the participants, we'll give to them a donation gateway. Then we can collect investments from every part in the world. Like in the social projects, they already are using soccer as a tool as social transformation, right? Yeah. We have to empowering him collecting financial support.
Very good.
Can you answer last question? What is the problem you're solving for Dubai, particularly with your solution?
First, we can make the Dubai League strong. We can encourage our youngs to pursue the dream. That's something in Brazil it's not happening anymore. And we can become one of the highest soccer business hub in the world. Because if you want to get a stronger league, you have to get good players. Good players doesn't mean the most painful or the most high price. Good players are good players. We just have to discover them and bring them to play here first, then be resold to Europe or to another countries.
So you want to render the local soccer league more competitive. That's basically the problem you're trying to solve.
Yes, stronger the Dubai leagues.
Okay.
Thank you. Our next company is PO8, all the way from the Bahamas. PO8 is a marine archaeology startup utilizing blockchain technology to excavate underutilized sunken treasures and artifacts from the ocean floors, generating sources of revenue for the government.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good. The only way Dubai can build the smartest and happiest cities in the world is if we don't forget to nourish our souls and minds. This is what PO8 brings to the ecosystem. Without blockchain technology, PO8 would not exist. We're using the world's most sophisticated underwater robotics to unearth underutilized assets or artifacts that history has left behind. Blockchain technology allows us to tokenize and monetize those underwater rare collectibles with non-fungible tokens, also known as NFTs. NFTs will allow Dubai to become the future of finance. NFTs allow artifacts to live in museums here in Dubai, but their ownership can be anywhere around the world. PO8 will allow Dubai to become the home of the most rare and most valuable non-fungible tokens in the world. Non-fungible tokens are the future of borderless and seamless asset management and banking. So the debut of the future of finance should be here in Dubai, built on non-fungible tokens. But what will it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So we must nourish our minds and souls with edutainment. The Dubai PO8 Marine Archaeology Museum, whose home would be the Museum of the Future, will have virtual reality and augmented reality components where visitors from all over the world could come to learn and be entertained. From 3-foot pools where guests would wear virtual reality goggles and be instantly transported to the Bahamas, or augmented reality lessons where we learn about shipwrecks and artifacts and how they are conserved. So non-fungible tokens are used as a secure store of value. They can generate sustainable returns on investment. You would buy an artifact at a pre-conserved valuation and you would sell it at a post-conserved price in 1 to 2 years and maybe see a 10 to 20% jump. Non-fungible tokens can also be used as collateral. They can be traded or sold to anyone in the world at any time. So while that non-fungible token in the form of a rare collectible is entertaining a 7-year-old girl about robots and humans and how they work together to find treasures. It's also educating her parents about the ship, the crew, and the precious cargo that they lost and what it meant to history. All while the intrinsic value of those artifacts via non-fungible tokens can be leveraged for loans for the next tallest building in Dubai, or they can be traded for tokenized real estate in that building, and maybe they can just be gifted to your best friend at his wedding. No matter what it is, P08 will be here to power the happiness of your soul past 2071. Because more important than buildings, gold, and gems are treasures of the mind. Thank you very much.
Questions?
Yeah. How does the valuation work? The initial valuation works.
So the
and
initial
the appreciation after that as well.
So the initial valuation works from a group of validators. So these validators are from all over the world. So they are people who might have previously worked for Christie's, Sotheby's, any of these different organizations, and they basically give a value to any type of asset, the same way it would work for real estate and so on. And then once that value is given, the non-fungible token becomes the digital ownership of that underlying asset. And then you can go on to fractionalize it, to trade it, to use it as collateral, whatever you want. So it's the future of asset management and banking.
You started with archaeological pieces,
yes,
which is, I don't think, very applicable here. But then you suddenly threw in the real estate, which is very applicable here. So what
let me
business model?
explain it to you.
Yeah.
In the Bahamas, we had a problem, so we created a solution, which was to have these non-fungible tokens tokenize these artifacts. But you have to imagine that these artifacts when they're with a custodian, which is the museum, we use their intrinsic value to then make a financial platform. So we wanted to have a very unique use case where most people could not compete with us, but we've already expanded to Cape Town, who at the Cape have a lot of shipwrecks. And then also, you'd be very surprised, within the seas here in the Middle East, there are a lot of shipwrecks that have happened with a lot of artifacts, but they're all sitting at the bottom of the sea and we don't know about them. So once you use those tokens now, that can then, it's a store of value of an artifact, but there's a store of value of real estate, a store of value of art. It goes on and on and on into tokenization.
How big is the market cap for the non-fungible tokens that you're talking about?
Okay, so non-fungible tokens are going to be bigger than fungible tokens. So this project is being built for 3 to 5 years from now. So currently, the non-fungible token market cap is about 1/4 of the fungible token market cap, but you have to imagine that anything can be tokenized.
Yeah, what I meant is in the shipwrecks.
In the shipwreck, in the Bahamas alone, our industry is worth $100 billion.
Okay.
So, for example, our company has the one license for that industry currently. So that means that really we could work that industry for a long time. And then we also have, like I said, Cape Town, where we've already expanded. Then you have the Middle East that is full with history. But you have to utilize them now for finance and how you can trade them for other things and how you can use them for bonds and for leverage. So that's what the future is about.
Quick one. How does the appreciation work? You didn't answer the appreciation part.
So the appreciation works based on the intrinsic value and the rarity of the particular asset. Because you have to imagine that we're not going to find replicas or duplicates.
Is it based on demand, or you revisit the appreciation value?
So when it's revisited, that's based, so there's a 10 to 20% on the market speculation, on demand. Who wants it, who needs it, when. But the original value of an artifact is based on the scarcity. It's based on, do any of them other exist? Are there any other ones that exist? So there's a criteria that...
And you revisit
and you revisit it. Every year you revisit it and you apply it to the non-fungible token.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next company is Quantum Stamp from the US. Quantum Stamp is a full-stack blockchain security company. They leverage deep expertise in software verification to secure the millions of dollars that are transacted on blockchain today.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Don Ho, and we are QuantStamp. QuantStamp is a Y Combinator-backed company building software that automatically checks for vulnerabilities in your code. We make sure you are not hacked, and we make sure that your sensitive data is protected. Smart contracts are growing exponentially. When we started this company, there were only 300,000 smart contracts in existence. 6 months later, when we started Y Combinator, that grew 6x. Fast forward 1 year to today, it has grown another 6x to 12 million. This is what the future looks like. But smart contracts have a fatal flaw. They can be hacked. In the last 2 years alone, $350 million have been compromised. Just this week, Korea's largest crypto exchange was also hacked. To prevent hacks, you need security audits. Auditing today is slow, manual, requires humans, and is unreliable. QuantStamp builds software that is fast, scalable, reliable, and does not require humans. We can do this because we have a stellar team. Our CEO was a Wall Street quant. Our CTO was a formal verification expert, and we have over 35 strong, with over 9 PhDs and 1,000 Google Scholar citations. We have 4 offices in San Francisco, Toronto, Tokyo, and Taiwan, and come from some of the best companies in the world. Similar to how Tezos, Ethereum, Hyperledger are the leading platforms for smart contract development, Dubai will be the future platform for all blockchain innovation. And if you want all government transactions to be on the blockchain by 2020, you will need QuantStamp to ensure that all your transactions are safe, to ensure that all your sensitive data is safe, and to ensure all transactions are legally recognized. We are confident we can do this because we already do. We have secured over $1.5 billion of smart contract value. We work with customers like Binance and the World Economic Forum, and we contribute research to some of the best universities in the world. Our investors include Y Combinator, who was the first investor in Airbnb, Dropbox, Stripe, and Nomura, the largest investment bank in Japan. Today, we are pleased to announce that we are also looking for strategic investors in this region to fuel our growth here, because we are on a mission to make Dubai the most innovative blockchain capital in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Don, for that presentation, which, by the way, also from the way how you did it was very nice. But as far as the content is concerned, I can just confirm out of the own experience in running a blockchain company, this is definitely solving a problem. This is not just a feature. What I like particularly is that you use formal verification, which is absolutely high military-grade security. Also in other technologies you apply to the blockchain. Fantastic. Maybe you can just expand a little bit how technically this works. Is this an API solution? Is it a second layer solution on the blockchain? So how does this technically, embed into existing blockchains? How do you perform the audit?
So QuantStamp is creating a protocol. QuantStamp is creating a protocol that sits on all blockchains. We are blockchain agnostic. And as a result, anyone in the world can copy and paste their own code, and we will find all the bugs in your code. In addition, I'd like to add about formal verification, that formal verification mathematically proves that your code cannot be hacked. That is really important.
So my question is, why are you here?
We are here because we believe Dubai is the future of blockchain, is the future of blockchain adoption. We believe that if you want all government transactions to be on the blockchain again, we need it to be safe. Our vision is to see a world run on smart contracts. And our mission then is to build really cool products to enable the mainstream adoption. I don't see anywhere else in the world that we have this sort of top-down priority to do so.
But why are you looking for investment, to be honest with you? When you're looking at when we look at your profile and your accomplishment and the customer list, we're puzzled. Why are you looking for investment, to be honest with you? How are your numbers? How are your books? Are you not generating revenue? Do you have cost efficiency issues? Why are you looking for investments?
We are looking to scale globally, right? And I will say that we are here looking for investment because we want partners to have skin in the game to see and feel our growth here. We can certainly partner
But when you have investors who are also your partners, their success...
Are you profitable today?
We are cash flow positive, yes.
Okay.
As far as I understand, and please feel free to correct me, smart contracts are not hacked. It's the bugs in the code that are being explored or exploited, right?
You can hack the smart contract by exploiting the vulnerabilities in it.
Exactly. So once you have found those vulnerabilities, because your software detected it, what's the next step? What's the solution at the end?
So we build software for pre-deployment. So we check for vulnerabilities before you put it on the blockchain.
Yeah.
We also build software that monitors your smart contracts once it is online. We also now have smart contract insurance that ensures that your smart contracts remain safe. And if they are hacked, that you actually have some assurance to recover some of those funds.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Next, we have T-Food International. T-Food is the largest blockchain-based farm-to-table food traceability solution, serving over 6,000 business customers. It integrates food companies, consumers, and authorities into one ecosystem.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Erika Roxalashi. I am representing T-Food International GmbH from Germany, and we are providing a solution for farm-to-table food traceability on blockchain. Here are some recent news about the food issues, scandals from all over the world. As you can see, the food is everywhere a huge issue and problem. So we can tell that the food safety is a global problem to be solved. According to the statistics, 600 million people are getting sick each year. $50 billion is the treatment cost only in the USA. And 420,000 people are dying each year because of the foodborne illnesses, and from that, 120,000 are children. Besides that, there is a lot of other problems to be solved in the food sector, like unfair trading, overusage of the antibiotics, or even the missing protocols for epidemic control. According to the consumer surveys, the consumer trust has been injured as well. Everywhere is the same question: is it safe to eat? Is it clean food? Or in the Muslim community, the dilemma is it real, halal, or not? And how to restore the missing trust, be transparent, and use T-Food. We are providing a solution and not only a blockchain platform. We have two different blockchains. One is for halal food, one is for non-halal food. And beside that, we are collecting all the food safety, logistic, and even halal-related transactions and events into the food chain. This is our blockchain system. And beside that, we are trying to solve all the challenges of the food traceability, like object identification, data collection, and even the product serialization. Our serialized product QR code can be scanned in the retail shop by the consumer mobile application, and they are getting back all the food safety and traceability information transparently. We have onboarded already 6,000 companies. We are tracking nowadays 40,000 kilograms of food daily. We have in 16 countries representations, not in Dubai yet. And one of our the first implementation was done in Vietnam. And we can proudly say that after 2 years using the system, the number of food frauds has been significantly decreased in that region. And now we are preparing the countrywide rollout of the system. Our vision is by 2021, we would like to provide for 1 billion people traceability information from blockchain transparently. Now we are reaching already 100 million people, so we don't think it's unrealistic. Thank you very much for your kind attention. With our motto, we all have the right to know what we eat. Thank you very much.
Identical to one of the previous startups. So it seems that this is becoming a trend now. So how do you differentiate yourself? Of course, great business model and great value. But how do you differentiate yourself?
Actually, what we are providing the whole challenges, or trying to solve all the challenges of the food traceability. We have an in-farm traceability module. We have logistical module. We are concentrating not only the Western food, but the halal food as well. So we think our experience allows us that we can solve all the issues regarding or in terms of the food traceability. We are already contracted in Europe, in Brazil, in the United States, in Australia as well, and in Southeast Asia.
Are there any products today in Dubai that we could use your app and trace it?
Unfortunately, not yet.
Okay. Okay.
Is the technology that you're using, is this limited to food, or can this also be to any other proof of origin problem like, I don't know, arts, you name it?
Yes, actually that technology is able to track pharmaceuticals, cosmetics as well. Right now we are trying to focus on food. We think it's a huge issue, but we have a lot of other inquiries from the other sectors as well. For instance, like building industry.
What technologies you're using here? What is the underlying one?
We are using Hyperledger Fabric. For that we modified a little bit it, and we are using Hyperledger. Proof of authority concept.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
ValueX is the world's largest first decentralized music artist stock market, where all music artists can get listed from anywhere in the world. Their friends and music fans can invest in them.
Mic check, check. All right, I got a question for everyone in the audience here. Let's lift the energy up. How many people in here love music? So we got a market here. All right. So ValueX is the world's first music artist stock market. So frankly speaking, I'm actually upset. I'm upset because we all love music, but we can actually choose which artists in the music industry makes it big. Now, record labels are the only ones who invest in the music artists. And did you know it can actually cost anywhere from $500,000 to $2 million to launch an artist's music career? So for this reason, breaking into the music industry is really hard for any artist. Like myself, I'm a music artist, so I had no money to launch my music career. So what is the solution? A stock market, where all artists can get listed from anywhere in the world, and anyone like you and I can invest in them. So we can discover local and international artists, and we can invest in them by trading in stocks. We could buy and sell it, and we can share in the revenue that they generate throughout the music career. The labels currently invested in music artists right now: Sony Music, Universal, Warner, and EMI. These are some of the big guys. Then you got platforms like SoundCloud, YouTube, who currently don't give us a way to actually invest in this artist. Record labels collectively inject around $4.5 billion to sign new artists. Now, when you look at the cost of signing a new artist and raising them to the top, if you divide 4.5 by $2 million, you get 2,250. And that's the problem that we're trying to solve there, because there are more than 8 million artists globally trying to become a music artist. That means if your son or your daughter wants to become a music artist, they have less than 0.5% chance of actually making it. But on ValueX, they can actually get listed and be invested in. Now, this is our product. Simply the artist, take Justin Bieber, for example. Imagine you could buy stocks in Justin Bieber, but this could have been your son or daughter who started off just like Justin Bieber, whose net worth is around $265 million today. We can actually earn money from listening to music as well, because what happens when artists get money? They need to promote themselves. So we can actually implement in Emirates Airline, for example, while you're traveling, I flew on a 15-hour flight here. So that was approximately 900 minutes. If I got paid $1 for every time I listen to a song in flight, I could actually make $300 just from listening to music and earning money while I do it on a flight. Why blockchain? Well, artists become digital assets, essentially their own companies. One global music currency that allows us to transact. We can invest in any artist anywhere in the world. I can be in Australia and still invest in artists here, or vice versa. And we can create better artist smart contracts that deals with the copyright issues and who owns what and how the payments are distributed. By 2020, we aim to connect the entire global music industry into the stock exchange-like stock market for music artists. Thank you very much, guys.
So eventually everything will be tokenized and connected via blockchain. But you're taking tokenization to the whole next level, tokenizing people. Has anybody agreed to be tokenized yet? Do you have any artists on your platform that I can buy shares in?
Yeah, so we haven't launched our platform yet, but right now in terms of the prototype that we actually put out, we had a tremendous amount of interest. So right now in our database, we actually have more than 50,000 people in our database, and around 20,000 plus of those are artists. Now on our Instagram account, we get hit up by different artists from different parts of the world, even Germany, Africa, saying how can they get listed on our platform. So talking about taking tokenization to a whole new level, essentially, it's not tokenizing people, but essentially artists becoming their own companies as independent artists and then listing that company on the stock exchange where people can invest in them and they have more control about their music and their content, and we can actually track that.
Got anybody famous?
Besides me? Sorry.
Besides you?
Yeah, working with the major guys right now, we've got great relationship with people in the music industry. I myself have been involved in concert promoting, so bringing international artists into the country to perform for the audience, and we generate revenue from like ticket sales. So I do have some networks and contacts in the music industry, yeah.
So who do you think you're going to experience the biggest pushback from in the industry? Who's gonna fight you the hardest in your industry now?
Who's gonna
fight you the hardest in this industry?
In the industry? Well, I'd like to put it this way. I think our platform can run in parallel to both the majors and the independent artists. Our focus is on the independent up-and-coming artists. But the big guys like Warner Music and Universal, think about it. Right now, they've got an artist, for example, is Justin Bieber, worth $265 million, and there's currently no way for him to IPO. So we can actually assist them in getting to that point.
You mentioned before that there's a chance to invest in these people, right?
Yeah, in the artists, yeah.
Invest means that there has to be a return as well. So what is the return composed of? Does the token holder or the investor acquire a right on the future, value on the future, tantiems and all these kind of things? Can you explain that a little bit?
Okay, so imagine me or someone else Justin Bieber, for example, let me stick to that example. He was discovered at 14 years of age, right? Imagine buying a stock in Justin Bieber when he was probably trading at, say, hypothetically speaking, 60 cents. Right? And with his net worth today, the value would have increased over time because he's had record sales, he's had concerts, and he's had a tremendous value being pumped into his music career. So you can see a rise in the stocks out there. And as well, it can be also a sense of responsibility right now of what's happening in the market. Artists having that responsibility in the sense that, imagine Kanye West came to say something stupid, people can actually sell off his stocks, and that can actually reflect on his share price, on his actual value.
But there is no smart contract embedded that gives you the right on the proceeds of the artist.
So we in terms of smart contracts, right, we distribute revenue by having our own cryptocurrency that we can trade that. On top of that, with the smart contracts, it allows us to have the royalties of the artist that is on the platform to be able to attract.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Our last company for the day.
Not taking this home today.
Our last company of the day is XDLT from Switzerland. They are an AML and digital identity compliance system on the blockchain. XDLT provides military-grade security for managing private keys. In short, they are a turnkey, full interoperable blockchain.
Hi, salam alaikum, hello. I'm Karim Shaib and my company is XDLT. We have one simple mission in mind. Make blockchain accessible, discoverable, useful and interoperable. I love this quote. That's our common ambitious goal. Inshallah we can help. I come from Switzerland, the crypto valley. I spent the last 5 years helping banks and financial institutions to support blockchain and digital assets, cryptocurrencies. I'm going to share with you some of the issues that we had to overcome. First, a question. Do you know how to find out transactions above 10 million that happen across all of the blockchain in the world in the last 5 minutes? No, there is no way to do that without XDLT. Why? Because blockchain are siloed and the data is opaque. Blockchain are no database. You can't do aggregated query. So you can't do reporting. You can't even do settlement because you send a transaction to the blockchain, you don't get a notification to do the end booking in the legacy system. AML providers, they just provide Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the regulator wants it all. It's expensive, there is forks, updates. So for the data side, conceptually it's very simple. We go through all the blockchain, we extract the data, and we store it into a database. We give robust search, analytic, AI model, all real time. That solves all the previous problems. Consider us as the Google for blockchain. It's very good also for law enforcement and government to overwatch everything. Interoperability, we have the DCRM, Distributed Control Right Management. We saw a couple of days ago the 32 user journey. It's great, but you want a seamless interaction. You want the blockchain to speak one to another. You don't want siloed application. You want the best experience for your user. DCRM provides that. And it will provide also a distributed custody system with military-grade security. Remember, from one side, data for the foundational layer, and from the other side, interoperability for all of the actors. You might recognize some of them here. How do we do that? We have parser node for all the blockchain, scalable infrastructure that follow every forks and update, and we have DCRM. Very complex, homomorphic encryption, Palier, El Gamal. Just remember, it's ready, and the best cryptographers in the world are looking at the security right now. So we have Gennaro, we have Godbert, we have Pascal Palier himself. Business-wise, 9 billion total addressable market. We provide our solution via SaaS model with enterprise-level pricing and pay-as-you-go for every individual. We also provide the one-click deployable infrastructure if you want to work in a closed environment. So remember, you need blockchain data and blockchain interoperability. Thank you very much. We are XDLT.
Are you the only ones in the market that provide such convenience and such security for blockchain platforms?
Yes, what we are doing right now from the data side and from the decentralized custody management system, yes, for now we are the only one. I guess that probably other actors like Google are going to come along for the data side. But from the DCRM side, there is nobody. It's a very world-class.
And the data aggregation is across all the nodes, or what data are you aggregating exactly?
Everything.
But it's the same throughout the nodes, right? So why do you need to aggregate all the data?
So, okay, there is 2 points. There is one is you need several nodes in order to get sure that you have consistency, and also the replication time across the world is not the same. But we also target every blockchain.
But the consistency is the core offering of what blockchain is.
True.
So why are you needing...
Because you also need to check. You might have a malicious node somewhere. So you also need to check
the
that.
malicious node gets decoupled by the nature of what blockchain offers by design.
That's true. But sometimes you have replications that come validated from one node, and then you have a replication time. So it's better to have like the nodes all over the world to check that. But back to your previous question, actually. We are indexing every blockchain, and we get all of the data. And if I might extend, if you see the value, the world is getting tokenized. So we have all of the information. We have spending. We have habits. We can know what is the customer habits, and we can help the customer journey and the experience. And also business-wise, you know who does business with who, for how much and when. So we have also data monetization aspects behind it.
How do you get into a private network?
Sorry?
I don't understand. How do you get into a private network? How can you access private network blockchain?
If there is a private network, you can't access it and extract the data. And yeah, and for the DCRM part, this is the same. If you have a private network, which is a siloed, then the private network will want to use our protocol, the DCRM, bind it in order to interact with other blockchain or other centralized database.
Last question. You had a lot of logos on your presentation. Are
Yes.
they all your customers, or you just put it for indicative purposes?
As I said, I spent the last 5 years helping most of the banks in Switzerland. And all of the logos that you saw, they are either core banking system we are working with.
Now?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I come from the core banking system.
And the last question, you said you can search and aggregate all of the blockchains, Monero included?
This is a privacy coin. We are not doing privacy coin because by nature we
You
could...
said all, so...
Perhaps it's a marketing word behind it, yes. But it's true that privacy coin, it's good from one side because it keeps privacy, because you see, we can get all the information. But from another side, for mass adoption, you need regulation, and then long life is to open blockchains that actually display all the data and are transparent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. This concludes the pitches for today. The judges will take 10 to 15 minutes to decide on the 3 winners. Judges, if you could please be escorted by Nakul. We'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes. Please don't miss the opportunity to witness the 3 winners. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We're about to start the last part of this competition. The judges are back with their results, but before that, we have a few keynote speeches. Karen?
As mentioned in the beginning, the Smart Dubai Global Blockchain Challenge is organized in partnership with Dubai Future Foundation and Smart Dubai Office. I now have the honor to invite His Excellency Khalfan Belhoul, the CEO of Dubai Future Foundation, on stage for a few open remarks before we announce the winners.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I didn't have a plan for a speech, and I didn't know that I had to speak here, but I said I'll just show up for the invitation and I'll see what the team is up to. And I think what I've seen is more than enough for me to really come and have a talk in here. But before I talk, I'd like to have a raise of hands. First of all, a raise of hands of all the participants, please, in the challenge. Bus'ud, a raise of hand, not a round of applause. How many of you have come to Dubai before? Okay. It's around 20% maybe. So I think from the look at the numbers, you really understand that the vision of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed is being converted. And this is what really makes us proud in here. What I'd like to say, and I want people to really digest this, that this is a country that's less than 50 years old. You're talking about a country that was a desert 50 years ago. And right now we're sitting in an event where people are speaking passionately, and this is what I really loved about this event, and I cannot thank Smart Dubai enough on creating this amazing vibe that I haven't seen, whether it was the passion in the presentations, the passion in the judges' contribution. It's a completely different vibe that I haven't seen in Dubai before. And I think the fact that we're in a session here talking about how we implement blockchain in a country that was trading pearl 50 years ago, depending on oil and diversifying away from oil, and now sitting in a session pushing to test things that are not tested in the world, is something that makes us really proud and really push for the vision of His Highness to really become a lab for the world. So I cannot thank you enough for being here and sharing with us this testing process. Big thanks, of course, to Her Excellency Dr. Aisha. She is a pioneer in pushing the innovation mandate, of course, with her team. And we cannot be prouder of her and her accomplishments globally. They had recently come back from the States in the South by Southwest, is it called? South by Southwest, yeah, it's a tongue twister, but it's one of the biggest events. And they came back, and I was personally following Dr. Aisha's Instagram to see if they'd really win a competition that had a global competition with ideas that came from Dubai. And they made us proud, and they came back with the victory. So congratulations, and a big round of applause for them on this. And all I would like to say is that we're here to support you make your dreams come true in Dubai. And this is the push that we have from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, is to accept risk, to accept failure, to learn from our failures, and to make sure that entrepreneurs really succeed, and we create the most convenient ecosystem for entrepreneurs to thrive, which means that we need to create the right funding mechanisms, we need to create the right regulations for innovations to thrive. We know that setting up blockchain, 100% blockchain in government entities will be challenging. You need the right regulations to implement it across the region. We have different projects in the Dubai Future Foundation, whether it was through the support of the cabinet at the federal level to launch the regulation lab, to test new ideas and to grant visas and to grant licenses for companies to test new things, test them through Dubai, give them then long-term permits to continue testing their ideas in Dubai. And with that, also, I'd like to thank the DFF team for their amazing contribution. I can see them all here. I see Ghaith, I see Karen, Sheikha, Abdullah, Fatima, Noor Al-Hathbour, of course, my dear colleagues, Saeed Daflasi, Abdulaziz Al-Jaziri. I've heard a lot of compliments from Dr. Aisha and her team on how well the application process has, I think, many folds, I think 700 applications, big diversity of almost 79 different countries. And the sectors that I've seen in the last 10 minutes here, it was completely diverse. With musicians, people thinking about logistics. So this really makes us proud that there are different sectors, different nationalities, making Dubai really an inclusive place for everyone from anywhere in the world to really come and test new things here. Don't want to keep you up for much more, but thank you so much. And congratulations in advance for the winners and the failures. That's not a failure, and I'm sure you'll succeed next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Khalfan. Ladies and gentlemen, after 20 rounds of pitches, the big moment is finally here. Our 5 judges have made a decision, and we have 3 winners. Fantastic. I'm excited to get to know them. I don't know them myself yet. To announce the winners, I would like to invite Her Excellency Dr. Aisha bin Bishr, the Director General of Smart Dubai, on stage, together with His Excellency Wessam Luta, the CEO of Smart Dubai Government, and His Excellency Abdulaziz Al-Jaziri, the Deputy CEO and Chief of Projects at Dubai Future Foundation, together with His Excellency Khalfan.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd just like to thank... Are we okay? All right. Good afternoon. My name is Wissam Luta, and it's my pleasure to be announcing the winners today. I just wanted to just say a few words before I do that. Today, I think all of the participants in my book, you are all winners. I really congratulate you and reaching to this point. You know, being selected out of 700 applications is an achievement in itself. And also having the courage to come on stage and present your ideas, this is in itself is a huge achievement. We've seen huge diversity in all of the applications of blockchain. The enthusiasm that we've seen on stage is, I think, second to none. And as my colleague Khalfan mentioned, Dubai is a place where you can come and test your ideas and show them to the world. We hope all of you will get out of this opportunity, possibility of working with the investors that are here in the audience and with the governments and the private sector. So without further ado, I will be announcing the winners. And these have not been audited by PwC, so it's okay. It's not going to be a problem here. So for the third place, it's Gray Block from Canada. Congratulations. Okay. We've seen many great ideas today, and I'm sure you all have favorites. So this one, in the audience, almost everyone I spoke to, it was their favorite. So the second place winner is iGrow Chain from Indonesia. My battery just died. All right, for the moment, the first place winner and the company that gets the privilege of being called the Global Blockchain Challenge winner today, it's Quantum Stamp from USA.
Congratulations to the winners. I got informed, can you hear me? Yeah. Congratulations to the winners. I was informed by the judges that we have one honorable mention.
Can't hear.
Yeah.
I'll repeat that, just in case you couldn't hear. There is one honorable mention that judges would like to do, if that's okay. Normally judges are not getting involved, but we are a little bit too proactive. On behalf of all the judges, and I'm sure Dr. Aisha will agree with us, and I'm sure Zena will agree with us, and I'm sure the rest of the room will agree with us. We'd like to make an honorable mention for Nasima from MedBlock. She is the only woman finalist. Great job. Thank you very much, Nasima. Where is she? Nasima, you here? She is the youngest contestant, which is great. Let's give her a round of applause. The only reason she's not in top 3 is because the project is not commercialized and is not active yet. So next year, you will be top 3 for sure. Go up. You are solving real-world problem, and we want to thank you for that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nasima. I now would like to invite our judges on stage for a picture with our 3 finalists. And then we would, as a second round, I would like to invite all participants on stage for a group picture as well. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your 3 top winners for the Global Blockchain Challenge 2019. A warm round of applause for the winners. Great. If I can invite all participants on stage now for the group picture.
They'll be waiting for too long.
Go ahead, yeah. And I would also like to invite the team of the Dubai Future Foundation and the team of Smart Dubai Office on stage for the group picture. Thank you. This was the Smart Dubai Global Blockchain Challenge 2019. I would like to thank our judges, all the participants, your excellencies, and of course you, the audience, for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you again next year for the Global Blockchain Challenge 2020. See you. Bye.